The time has come for all to know that there is another world out there underneath the one we can see and touch. It is time we take the paranormal and make it normal, to make the unknown known. We all have to be ready for what is in the shadows. There are negative and positive spirits among us. We just need to know what to look for and how to handle every situation to the best of our abilities. There is so much fear surrounding this field. Our job is to show there is a positive side to the spirit world.
Hi, my name is Herb Street,
I'm Carol Finch.
and we're with Lifting the Veil. And tonight, we're here at beautiful Buffalo Central Terminal, and we're doing an investigation here. This is our third night here. We were here during the TAPS event. We had a great opportunity to show Jason and Grant the Herb Street method, which is a new technique and methodology how to investigate the paranormal. So hopefully you enjoy tonight's episode.
The second floor is going to be Mr. Herb Street and his Herb Street method. Actually, he's going to get into that a little bit more soon after I'm done. The third floor is going to be one of our investigators, Brandon and Marty from our group. We actually had some success on that floor with using a mag light to answer questions, turning it on and off for yes or no answers. And the fourth floor, we're going to have our psychic mediums, Michelle Hall and Reverend Tim Shaw, up there to try to communicate with some spirits. We had some success with that floor as well with them up there. So we're going to get going. First, I want to welcome up here Herb Street. He's going to do a little 20-minute presentation on his method. And then basically what we're going to do is he's going to be up on the floor and he's going to kind of work with you on how to do that and how to use it in your investigations. Mr. Herb Street.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Herb Street. This is Carol Finch. She runs Ghost Hunts out of Allentown.
How's that? Andy, you're going to have to adjust for us.
Name's Herb Street. This
Carol
is Carol Finch. She runs Ghost Hunts out of Allentown. And we've developed this new technique. It's called the Herb Street method. Just because we couldn't find a better name for it, I guess. But it has to do with everything. I mean, there's a whole methodology behind it. It's communicating with the other side and being able to solidify it 110%. So there's no room for human manipulation or contamination. It's using EVPs in real time and always having a video camera on it. Like for instance, if you want to set a recorder down to document some kind of spirit voices in a room where no one else is there, you want to hit record. You never want to get it out of view of the camera range. You always want a camera on that device. Okay? Now you leave, you've got that recording, you've got your camera recording, you never cut away. You come up to it while this is still filming. You press play, you reveal it, and you review it in real time. There's never a break. Okay? 100% solidified. That way you're not taking this away, and as soon as you're doing that, you're never going to know. Or even if you're just setting it in a building and you're not putting a camera on it, you don't know if there's vagrants in there. You don't know if someone's walking in the room and says something without addressing themselves. You don't know it's a spirit. Now with the video camera, you'll know if someone comes up to the device. You'll know if someone moves it. You'll know if someone's in the room talking. You'll hear them coming in. Now this can also be used using real-time EVPs, where we have an investigator like Carol. She would have a video camera, and of course she'd have IR light on me. And you never break view of the camera. When you ask questions, and we'll all have a chance to work with me, and I'll work hand in hand with you and show you how this method can be effective. Last night I was upstairs with Grant for a couple hours at least, using this technique, and he really loved it, and he put me with every one of his people, and I was working with them individually, showing them this new technique, because it backs everything up 100%. You're not going to get people saying, okay, well, you took everything home, and then what did you do to it? okay? And not to mention that, but you're breaking away the connection. When you go home and you get an EVP saying, help me, how can you help that person 8 days later after you finally discover it's there from listening to 9 hours of dead air? If you're doing it in real time and you say, who's here? You give the spirit 10 to 15 seconds to answer you. Then you press stop. And like I said, it's all backed up with video backup, multiple angles. Not just one camera, we're running 2, 3 cameras. So that one camera's on this at all times, one camera's on me at all times, and so you've got the whole room, so you know no one's in the room talking, and you know, there's no other way. Really, once you are introduced to this method, if you still continue to use these primitive techniques, if it's a personal journey for you, then it's totally fine. You don't have to go to these extreme measures. But if you're like me and you're trying to prove life after death and the paranormal, this is really the only way to do that, is real-time evidence. There can't be any gap from review to investigation. And everyone in this room knows, you've gone home and you've played the EVP and you're like, oh, if I knew they said that, I would have said this. But when I was with Grant, we were getting incredible K2 spikes. And, this is the first time he has ever been really introduced to stuff like this. I'm right next to him, and I'm like, this is how we do it, yada, yada. I talked to him. He brought me on board, put me and Carol on the special guest list. We had total access to everyone in his team, and we were working with them individually. And when he saw, the possibilities of this technique, he was blown away. He was like, this is really great. You're passionate about this, and I could see that you really worked hard on this. And, we've got this all backed up with video. I'm going to have, a 5-10 minute clip of this on YouTube soon enough of me working with taps, showing you. That I'm not just telling you a story. And anyone that runs the event here, you could ask them, this isn't just some spiel, that didn't happen. This really took place. And when I worked with Jason and Grant, I had them use the technique where they asked a question and they, stopped and played it back, and it's all backed up with video evidence. Like I said, we'll have that up for you soon enough. This all took place last night, so I'm going on like 4 hours of sleep. So I was going to put together a little, video clip for everyone, but it just couldn't happen. There just wasn't enough time. But, when they got the evidence, when Jason was asking questions and they were getting K2 responses, for me to explain to them, just to introduce this to them, that when you're getting a K2 spike, if they're manipulating EMF levels, then they should have the ability to communicate with speech. Because if they're there and powerful enough to show you, EMF levels, then why not, as soon as you're getting a spike, you break out the EVP, you break out the recorder, you ask a question, you stop and you play it back. And this is what I did. I did it with 30